Siphinde sinibingelele kwiKaya TV2. Wena-ke oqalayo ukungena kuleli khasi, siyacela ukuba ucofe ibhathini usubscribe, ukhulise leli khasi khona uzohlezi uyithola iy'ndaba njengoba zinjalo. Kuzokhumbuleka ukuthi izolo bekuwusuku lokuthi umongameli we-MK Party avele phambi kwe-DC ye-ANC eLuthuli House eGoli. Lapho-ke bagcine bethi-ke ayenziwe ngobuchwepheshe besimanje, shuthi uzoyenza esekhaya nabo bele eLuthuli. Lapho-ke ebemelwe uMr Tony Yengeni eLuthuli House. Engazathi-ke kube khona-ke okungazange kuhambe kahle kubo lobu buxhakaxhaka lokhu-ke, kwagcina-ke engazathi akuhambanga ngendlela bekufanele kuhambe ngayo. Kodwa-ke uMr Tony Yengeni-ke uzoyichaza le nto-ke ngoba uyena uyazi kabanzi. Nangu-ke uTony.
Of course, as a member of the ANC, there's no way that I'm not going to agree with the rules and regulation of the ANC. Like any other organization, the ANC has got disciplinary processes, and its members should observe and uphold those processes. However, you've got a number of instances in the ANC history, in the ANC involvement, where members of the ANC vote with parties that are not in alliance with us, namely the DA and others. Even today, we've got a GNU where ANC members, ANC leaders vote with the DA. And nobody's raising the question, in terms of these rules, how do then these rules apply to some people and not to other people? Okay, so there's a whole big debate around that matter. That's why, as far as I'm concerned, even when I was still in the NEC, I used to oppose vehemently this notion of voting with the DA. To me, that thing is unprecedented. You sitting there can say that and say he violated, but you know better that in this country, you can't just sit there and say he violated. There must be a process. That's what we have been doing in the last 2 weeks to determine the veracity of these allegations. And as I'm saying to you now that there's a question that arises at this point in time, when we as ANC members find it necessary to go and vote with the DA on a whole host of issues against the provisions of that ANC constitution. This is what we've done. Why him and not others is the question that arises. Because I explained to the DC that historically and strategically, the ANC has always embraced openness and transparency. And Comrade Jacob Zuma would like to have a physical meeting so that he can look at his accusers in the eye, especially around an emotional and difficult issue like a DC. To subject an old man of in the age of the 80s to be fiddling with gadgets to be able to face a DC is not something that he'd want to do. He would want to sit in a room with his comrades and discuss and debate the matters at hand.
So,
and therefore, this notion of hiding behind closed doors, behind a computer and a cell phone, is not something that he can fathom. When I left, it was after they'd decided that they're proceeding with the virtual platform, and they're not going to allow us to have a pre-hearing as we asked them to do, because there are things that we wanted to talk about during that pre-hearing. And they simply said, no, okay, we are proceeding with or without him, and no pre-hearing, and we're calling the first witness. And then the first witness came today, that was Mbalula, who gave some evidence about the press conference in Soweto on December 16. And thereafter they tried to flight the press conference itself on screen. but that did not happen. I mean, if the picture is there, there's no voice.
So there was
if the voice is
glitches.
there, yeah, if the voice is there, there's no picture. After 10 minutes, like, guys, this is what I warn you about this virtual platform.
Okay.
So I'm not putting up with this nonsense. I'm leaving.